certainly want to, okay, it's 11 o'clock. Certainly want to respect everybody's time in doing this. Thank you for, let's see, got something to check. Okay. This is this webinar is being sort of put together by the Publishing and Graphic Design Learning Community. My name is Bruce Dupree. I'm at Auburn University, Alabama Cooperative Extension System. With me is Michelle Snowden from Maine Extension. Is that right?
Yep, University of Maine Cooperative Extension.
On the road in some county somewhere. But
yes, yep.
And presenting today is Janet Guynn. Janet is a multimedia producer, graphic designer in the office next to me, a wall away. She's going to be talking about Adobe Express today. And one thing before we get started, just want to ask everybody, if you have questions, if you have thoughts, if you have ideas, please put those in the chat. I'll be monitoring those. And one more thing, if you have ideas for future graphic design learning community webinars, please put that in the chat also. We want to talk about publishing, we want to talk about graphic design, we want to talk about all things branding, art, editing, whatever is on your mind, what's relevant. We want to take that and run with it. So nobody has any questions or comments. Janet, please take it away.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and share. Okay. I'd just like to welcome everybody, and I appreciate you coming today. I hope that I can share a little bit about what we've been doing with Adobe Express that might help our colleagues and ourselves as far as getting our messages out there, having consistent branding, those sorts of things. My name is Janet Guynn, and this is my email if you have any questions and would like to reach out after this. I'll also mention this later. But today we are going to talk about the power of Adobe Express. We here at Auburn, a lot of our counties, a lot of our program teams had been using Canva, and I actually really like Canva a lot, but our university had an issue with Canva and could not work out a contract with them for us to continue to use Canva. So Adobe Express, we do have a deal with Adobe, and Adobe Express seems to be very comparable, and they're continuing to like build on it and make it better. So we recently tried to suggest to our people that we move from Canva. They're no longer allowed to use Canva at all for licensing reasons, and move to Adobe Express. And I found that this really has done a lot for how we can connect and collaborate on projects. And so I think that this has been a very positive move for us. Adobe Express, there are web and mobile versions, which makes it really nice if you're out in the field and all you have is your phone. You can actually design on the go. It's good for creating graphics, social medias, posters, banners, and logos. You can create short videos. You can download it digitally or download it for print.
Janet, sorry, we're seeing the presenter's view. Are you able to switch that around?
Okay, let's see.
Just click on swap displays up there, upper. Well, you're probably seeing the other one. There you go, right there.
Perfect. Thank you for saying that.
Sure.
It can be downloaded. There's hundreds of pre-designed templates available, and you can start from scratch, which is nice. What currently they have listed as their plan options are the free option, which actually gives you a pretty fair amount to work with if you don't have a budget for this. or the premium option, which is $9.99 a month. I know that this is not the educational price, and if your university already has a deal with Adobe, this may be different. If you have a full Creative Cloud license, this is already included and you wouldn't pay anything additional. So I think that's really helpful. One of the things that I also think is beneficial if you already have a Creative Cloud license with Adobe is that once you put assets into Adobe Express or you put them into your Creative Cloud files, they work in Creative Cloud libraries within each app that you use. So you can like use the logos and things that you put in there as far as building a brand in different programs. If you go to Adobe and you're trying to sign in, if you're from a school, you're going to sign into the company, your school account, probably with your original email with your account. You don't want to use an alias. You also don't want to sign into your personal account probably and build it. Just because if you have other people with your same company or school account, it links like the way you can search through for an email, like in your email client or whatever it is. So that helps you connect better with other people if you're using a company or school account. And those are kind of interconnected in the back end of Adobe Express. I'm going to quickly kind of go through what the different parts are, but then I'm going to open it up and kind of go through slowly signing in and things like that. So first off, there's a sidebar menu and kind of a main menu that you're going to see. This just gives you some different items that you can go through. Home is going to basically take you back to the beginning. That plus button is your create button. Your stuff is where your brands and your libraries are going to be stored. You can explore templates and media that they have under the Explore tab. The schedule is the way that you connect your social media platforms with this so that you can post and schedule right from Adobe Express. This is kind of a little bit of what the main menu looks like and the create button looks like. So it gives you some suggestions on like what you might want to make. I have a feeling that that's like customized to what you choose a lot. It kind of changes, I think. This is the home. So you're going to see that main menu on the top and then the left. It also gives you some really good suggestions on like what you
I just got on it.
What'd you say? Okay. The your stuff, you're going to have files, brands, and libraries. And so these are just some of my projects that I have going right now. A brand is going to include logos, colors, fonts, graphics, and templates. And I'll kind of show you in just a minute what that does. And again, we talked about the schedule tab. I don't currently have our social media schedule because I don't do that. We have a really wonderful social media person that manages all of this, but you can actually go in here, connect all your Facebook accounts and schedule it. It works similar to Meta Business and can be used so that you don't have to go to a different platform to send all of your stuff out. Next is the Learn button. So Adobe has so many different resources that you can use for a lot of them are education based as well, which is nice. So you can sign in and do the Learn and it'll teach you all about Adobe Express. You can basically find anything that you need. We use this a lot for our counties, especially. We're working with people who aren't designers naturally. We're trying to give them templates and brands and colors so they're not having to guess or put that into other things. What I like about Adobe Express is that in one project, you can do a flyer. On the next page, you can do the same social media graphic. All of the stuff starts to look similar. You can download it all at once. You can download it as individual pages. And it just is a nice package for each project that you're working on. It's great. Social media flyers are really, the graphics should be short, simple, eye-catching, limited text. You don't need like the legal statement, QR codes, or detailed information. Okay, so I'm going to quickly stop my share and I'm going to go over to the web browser. If you want to follow along, you can. if you want to open a web browser on your end. Let's see. Are there any questions so far? I'm going to sign out really quickly because I feel like some of this can be helpful if you haven't done this before. So if you go to adobeexpress.com or new.express.adobe.com, or you can get to it through your Creative Cloud if you're on a machine that has Creative Cloud. You sign in with your email. You're going to use your original email. You're going to choose a company or school account. Of course, it's not going to work. I love that. Okay. Well, oops, certainly not. Just 1 second. Sorry, I'm restarting my browser real quick. Okay.
Janet, you did have a question in the chat.
Okay.
Is the social media scheduler free or paid?
I think it's going to come with, I think it's going to be free. I've not seen where it's going to charge me, where it would charge me for that. But again, I have a full Creative Cloud license. So I don't know if that makes a difference or not, but I think that it would be free. It may be back in those plans. If you go under Adobe Express.com, you can view the plans that they have, and it usually lists there what is free. Sorry, I'm not. I should have never logged out, I guess. Code. My apologies for this taking a minute. Okay. Well. There we go. So if you saw there, what it did was it made me authenticate my account. That's what connects it to all the other Auburn accounts that we use. And so that's what allows me to connect with our other people. Okay, so this is the home screen. You can kind of see that it gives you a lot of suggestions on what you can make. If you click on something that looks familiar, you know, you can start from scratch. You can browse the templates that they have. There's there's so many templates in here. It's just a wonderful resource that you basically save so much time from not having to start from scratch. When you go in here, you're able to create a brand. If you go to your stuff in the brands, you can create a brand, you can give your brand a name. This is our Alabama 4-H brand that we've created. Within the brands, you have logos, colors, fonts, graphics, which you can see we've put in a whole host of graphics for 4-H. And then at the very bottom, you're going to see templates. And so these are different things that allow them to use this template, put in their own images, create new files. So like this one is a club year template that they could go in and add their own photos or use it to make something different. We also have in here our main brand, the Alabama Extension brand. I've included things like our 4-H logos in this as well. I've also included social media graphics so that they would have a consistent social media graphic like set that they could use on their things. And right now we have 3 templates. One's a footer, one's a general promo card, and one's a flyer. And so this allows them to kind of stop and make new things from these templates. So if they go in here, basically I can share our brand. I can invite people to this. You can see that you have certain permissions within the brand. So like our main people in communications have editing permissions, but the rest of people have view, which allows them to like use the brand, download the templates, make different projects, that kind of thing. So you can see how many people that we've been able to connect to the brand, which is great because they no longer have to figure out what blue this is, what font they should use, what logo they should use. We've tried to put just about everything they could possibly need in here. This is a county promo card. So if I start a new file from that template, I can show you a little bit about what we've put on the template and what they can change and what they can't change. So it does give them some way to like customize things to their county, to their program team, that sort of thing. I've noticed that with Adobe Express, when I click on a new project or something like that, it does seem to take like a minute and be kind of clunky. I'm hoping that eventually some of that gets better. I think some of it also has to do with just our internet here in the office. I struggle connecting to Wi-Fi, so I'm always hardwired in, but it still seems to be just kind of slow. So I'm hoping that that kind of stuff will improve. So this is one of the templates that we gave them. It allows them to customize their county name. They can add or take away whatever social media platforms that they have. It already has the correct statement on there for them. This is a general QR code that I put on there that goes to our main web page. And then they can take these and customize these to like what their county covers. So not all counties kind of have the same type of program areas. So this just gives them, they can use these images that I put in here, but it also gives them a way to replace them. Another thing about this that I really like is that you can replace an image. You can choose from any of the Adobe stock if you have a paid account, which is nice because that gives them a whole photo library of things that like they may not have access to. And the Adobe stock library generally is pretty good. They generally have just about anything we could possibly need. So that has been really beneficial. If you're going to start from scratch on a project or they want to start from scratch, they can actually go and browse the templates. I've told them, like, for example, with 4-H, you know, if they just search the word clover, they're going to see so many different things that kind of relate to 4-H. If it's like a chicken, you can search chicken. And a lot of different things come up with that. If you're doing a farmer's market flyer, you can do that. So it just gives them a way to have something that's quick. They can start a new project, then they can start to say apply our branding to it. So like with this flyer, I can go over and go into this document. And like, even with the colors here, it'll give me like the brand colors that I have put in here. I can go over to my brands. I can swap my brand to like, say, the main Alabama Extension brand, and just drop and drag the logo that I need. I can go and copy and paste the footer that I need. It's going to allow me to change colors. You can see here that this is the brand that I have right here. So it's going to give me my brand colors. So I no longer have to like guess like what I should use. And they can go in and like change the things that they want to change. Let's see if I can just change the whole thing. Anyway, this is how you kind of change the colors. You can add logos, you can add fonts, you can change the colors of this, you can replace the images of these things. When you go back to once you save a project, you can name it. So this is flyer. And then you can also, what I found really helpful is some of our people, like, they just want somebody to take a look at something. They can invite me to this project. I can see it. I can work on it in real time. They can actually even open it up, I think, at the same time and see exactly what I'm changing, and we can discuss what I'm changing, which has been nice. You can add pages in this. You can duplicate a page. You can add another page. You can duplicate a page and it will let you resize it for social media. So like, if you have a flyer and then you want a social media graphic, you can resize that. And so that's been really helpful for us.
Hey, Janet,
Yes.
I have a question.
Okay.
How would you compare this tool to Canva?
I actually had preferred Canva in the past. You know, anything has a learning curve when you're swapping over. I really like that this communicates with my other Adobe products, so that's been beneficial for me as a graphic designer. I can show you in just a minute how that works. But it's a little more it's a little less intuitive than Canva, but then things that are more expanded than Canva has. The Adobe stock library, to me, if you do have that through your account, is a huge benefit. Canva does have some of that, but I feel like Adobe's there's more to it. I have really enjoyed, and I'm not as familiar with Canva in this aspect, but I've really enjoyed being able to like not have to know what any of my sizes for anything are, that I can just go in and change a document, and it has all of the right sizes and stuff for the different posts, different videos, different it has templates for all of that too. So I've not been in Canva in a while because we have totally swapped, but I would say it's very comparable. I would say Adobe is actually working to make it better. I had an opportunity to speak to an Adobe rep that covers our university, which was nice. I didn't think I could actually get a person on the phone, but I have been able to do that. Another thing that I think is really nice has been, they showed me when I talked to her that they have a place on their main, when you're first getting into Adobe Express, if you go down to the footer, and it says like suggest a feature. And I've been using that, and I've actually seen like where other people, they have kind of a community where they take feedback. So I feel like that's really encouraging as far as Canva to Adobe Express. I was going to try to show you if it'll open. Just waiting for it to open. This is the scheduler. You can see if you go in here and connect. It just walks you right through it. So it'll just tell you exactly what you need, how to connect your accounts, like what to put in there. And then eventually it gets you to kind of a scheduler and where you can schedule your posts in advance. Let's see, I'm going to stop my share for a minute and share kind of what it looks like in. So if you're back on your computer, especially if you're a Mac user, I'm not sure where it is if you're a PC user, but at the top of my computer on my desktop, there's a little Creative Cloud icon. And if you click on that, that's usually how most people would use it to update their apps, which is generally how I had been using it as well. That is one way that you can open Adobe Express. You can search for it in the apps and you can click here to get there quickly. The other thing that I wanted to show you is that how the libraries are connected. So all of the brands that I've put into Adobe Express are here, and I can access them in my Creative Cloud libraries. And this, you can also add groups of people that have access to this through here. You can also add, drop, and change like icons and logos without ever even going to Adobe Express. One of the things that we looked at recently was we were going to update the fonts for our Adobe, our 4-H logos, our Alabama 4-H logos. And so I can change that logo out from here and it updates universally. So I would definitely say that that is an advantage to Canva. Are there any other questions while I'm right there? So this is another template that we created. It basically just gives them all the different places and options for different types of text that they could use, different places for images that they might need. And we went ahead and did 3 pages for this. So in Adobe Express, all of the things that are on a page are going to be in layers. And you can see all of my layers here. So if you have a hard time like selecting one layer, you can and just select that specific item and work with it that way. If you want to see the pages, so we made one that was like good for a social media post, event post, and then one that was for a social media plain like in your feed kind of post. But basically we did trainings with everyone that showed them how to resize. So like here you hit the resize button, say I want this to go to an Instagram story. I can hit duplicate and resize down here, but you can see all the different options that you have for being able to resize this document. So once you create something and you get all of your assets on a page, it is really simple to make it for a different format. I know that we're doing a lot of integrated marketing and we need the same look for all these different platforms and it's all got to work together. And so this to me has been really beneficial in helping them do that on their end. So if you hit duplicate and resize, it adds a page. That page is going to now be the size that it needs to be for that story. I can go in here, I can delete like what doesn't need to go on there because for a story, you're not going to use the same things. I can take all of this stuff and just like quickly resize it for wherever it's going. Usually I can. Nothing's working today, so but you can kind of see here how you would make those adjustments. But the speed that I can do this at, the fact that you don't have to necessarily be a designer to be able to do this is really helpful. I think that we've given our county offices especially the confidence to be able to like get into social media, work in it, create things that look good. We've been able to improve how our brand appears. Those sorts of things I think just pay dividends, because a lot of times we are advertising products and programs and services that no one realizes is connected with extension. And so once people start using the same templates and they start using the same colors and their logos are consistent and clear, like we start to look like a brand that's connected, that, you know, something that's going on in the northern part of our state and the central part of the state are related, and it's not all individual organizations putting materials out there. So this is just one template that we've provided them. We've also encouraged them to use the templates that are within Adobe Express. We've even made some of these for our own social media that comes out centrally, so that we have some quick ways to update and make different posts and things like that too. So,
Hey, Janet, you have a question?
okay.
This is about accessibility. For flyers to be generated into PDFs, what is setting up accessibility elements like? Alt text on photos, tagging, header styles, etc. I know that there's methods to set up those accessibility elements in Adobe InDesign. Curious about Express.
Yes. I think that most of that work for the level that this is probably going to be done. Like you'd probably open it back up into Adobe Acrobat and add some of those things. I think that if you're in here and you were initially choosing some sort of like they have some presentations and they have some website sort of templates in here, and I think maybe if you were in a web template you might see different options, but as far as I know, I have not seen like where you would add alt text. When you go to download a file, it does give you the option to download the single page or all pages together. It gives you a download for a PNG, a JPEG, and a PDF. So my thought would be that with Adobe Acrobat Pro is that you would download the PDF and add the alt text and stuff within Adobe Acrobat. I would think would be your best bet on that. I think that's really, I mean, I've kind of run through it. I'd be happy to show you some other things. I'd like to know if anybody's already using Adobe Express, or they've thought about it, or how you use it. Like, I feel like this is more of a conversation than just a one-way presentation, because I think we can all benefit from each other's experiences.
Janet, have we gotten any feedback from the counties from their perspective? Is this, I know they used Canva was pulled, some are using this now. What have
I
you
think
heard?
it's been kind of the same thing that I've kind of done. It's like, if they used Canva before, you know, the switch is very similar, but they have less of a learning curve. But I think sometimes you get used to the tools in whatever program you're in. But if they haven't, which the majority of our people, I think, are new users. They've not used Canva, they've not used Adobe Express. And so for them, I think it's been fun. I think they've been encouraged by it. You know, it's definitely, to me, way easier than trying to work in Word. And we still have some people work in Microsoft Publisher. We were trying to support all of those different programs for the different skill levels, but since we've gone to this, it's kind of like, hey, we're doing this in Adobe Express. It's a web-based program. Like, everybody kind of needs to get on board, because we just can't spend time to do a Word document and a Microsoft Publisher document and a PDF and a this and a that. for all the different templates that we have. So trying to put everything in one place and have everybody be able to talk to one another has been beneficial. We've had certain program teams reach out. I've now done brands for 4-H. I've done brands for human sciences. I've done templates for the individual groups. I'll show you the human sciences templates that we've done. But they kind of have been able to take it and run with it, which is nice. I can set it up initially, but they also have the ability. I told them, like, if they're using something all the time, they also have the ability to go in and, customize it for them. So they don't have to wait. They have access to their own brand. They have access to their own, stuff that they can build out, their libraries and their brands. So to me, that's been the most beneficial thing, and kind of what I've heard from county offices.
Janet, here's a question. How many custom templates are you developing versus relying on Adobe Express templates?
For us right now, I just have 3. I had hoped to have time to put out one like every couple weeks or so. I would love to have the ability and time to put towards this to give them a bunch of templates. I think if I saw people using them more, I'd be more inclined to spend my time that way. This has kind of been a trial and error and just kind of seeing how it goes. You can see I made 6 different templates right here, but these were ones that they specifically asked for our human sciences team. One is a success story. One's just an image with our logo and just like a screen of color over it. This one is a program highlight. This is kind of an education, like stepped process post. This is like just a little advertisement for something, and this is just literally a picture. So I think some of it is just determining like what you might use the most or what you have the most demand for. I've also looked at kind of like, what is the worst things that we're putting out on social media, and like, can I give them something to replace that? Like, we have people who are just like crazy about colors and fonts. Can I give them something that like simplifies what they're putting out there? Or like, I have one person that wants to use borders all the time, or like, if I start to see things that I feel like they could use and kind of replace for them, then those are the things that I feel like benefit from this. For example, if you have state programs and those materials are going to get used over and over again, to me that's time well spent. If it's a one-off program and they can do it on their own, then I feel like we try to encourage them to do that.
We also have a large marketing campaign starting in October. We're collecting assets for that. There will likely be templates that we need to create from the state level that goes out to the counties. This is an excellent way of getting those out there.
I see that next question, or I see a question. Can you download brand fonts? In this fonts folder, you can add, like, it's going to pick up any font that I have on my computer, which I can choose that. I've tried to go with system fonts or just the ones that Adobe Express offers, because the majority of our people are on PCs and they don't have access to particular fonts. If it was a brand font though, and you were able to purchase that license for your system as a whole and put the font file somewhere where everybody could universally get to them. For example, we've set up a Teams group for Adobe users. Microsoft Teams has a way to put files in there. We've put our different training documents and stuff in the file, say for 4-H or other program teams. I would say that you could put the font files in something like that, or a box folder where someone could download them. If they had them downloaded to their machine, they could certainly pull from those to use consistently in their projects. Is there anything else that I could demonstrate or show or go back to?
Janet, could you show a little bit of videos?
I don't currently have any videos in here per se, but I can show you where they, so if you go to the Create tab, you can go to this video button. You can upload any of your B-roll from your own device. I take that back. Yes, I do have a little bit. Well, I was working on a video-based post for Instagram, but you can see how it's going to walk you through. This is how you trim scenes, and this is how you do your audio, and this is how you share your video. So it's going to walk you through all of that. If you have a video department, like what I'd hoped to do is to put the outro in here and the intro that we usually use for our videos. And that way it would look consistent with videos that say our video team makes. And so you can definitely like add your own audio, add your own videos. You can also choose from theirs. And it's basically just a drop and drag approach. And you can go back and add more into it that way. It's pretty simple. You can add text, you can add effects, basically anything that you could add on a social media post. You can actually make your social media posts into videos as well. So you can choose this, you can resize your video for like say the Instagram story video or a TikTok video, or you know, the different video platforms that they have. If you're preparing it for YouTube, you can choose these. So it does have a fair amount of capability. Let's see. What I like too is like it has some of this stuff that's customizable. So you can choose different type lockups, like if you're trying to do something and put that into your video. Even on the social media graphics, if you go into this animation, no, excuse me, that's not it. You can go into here and make it dynamic. Let me see if I can show you an example of that. I've cleaned my stuff up a little bit. So it also allows you to make folders and keep different things in different folders. I had made one that was dynamic for 4-H that had a clover, but you can animate just about anything that you have. Let's see. So I had started working on this to advertise that we've had so many Flickr views. So you can kind of see how this would work. It's going really fast and it's not completed yet. I was trying to see if I could. A lot of times you have to download it to like really be able to watch it until it loads properly.
Are some of these our own photos, Janet?
These are all of our own.
Okay.
We have a Flickr page that we also advertise as like a media library. It has a lot of B-roll. It has a lot of just stills that we've shot. We try to put up some of the things that we think people might use the most. But you can see these are all examples of like things that we have. So that's just a little bit of the video and how it might be used to make stories, especially. You can see, you can make this text dynamic, which basically means that it will activate, it'll do movement. So that's kind of fun because that creates a little bit of movement on your page.
Hey, Janet, it's 11:45.
Okay.
Central Time. If there are any parting comments from Janet or our audience today, let's get those in. If you have any ideas or thoughts, future wishes for publishing graphic design topics, please put those in the chat or send them to me, Bruce Dupree, at cdupree at auburn.edu.
Just going back to that our own photos question, like you can take any template that they have. Let's see, for example, I'm just picking one. You can start this new project, and you basically just replace it and upload from your own machine, your own photos, whatever you'd like to put in there. You can also add photos if you know that, like, you can add those as graphics into your brand. And then that person would have access to those photos all the time. So an example might be like for our human sciences team, it's a smaller team. If I wanted to put all of their headshots in there, so if they were making something and wanted to put their headshot on there, I could put that into their library. But basically you just hit upload from device, and it searches your computer. It allows you to pull whatever shows up as an image. Oh, it wants video right now, so I can show you just a video. It's only let me pull for my video for this one. But I can also go in and add a still. It's a little closer. But you can work with it that way, and use all your own images, all of your own media, anything that you have on your machine. It's picking up the audio from that event too. So okay, I'm gonna stop sharing. I just want to know how many people are actually using this right now. Is there anybody using it?
Yeah, I use it for a few things. I've been using it for Reels. I kind of use it interchangeably with Canva. It depends on the project. But I like both of them for making slideshows and Reels. I like the video.
One thing I would say is it does have presentations in here, which I do not feel like they are yet comparable to like a PowerPoint presentation. However, I will say that if you get into some of the resources for educators, I really think that that's where Extension could benefit from some of this. It just basically shows you how to use the tools to create like interactive presentations, to work with students. It just shows you different ways. I think that some of the creative resources as far as brainstorming goes, if you get in there and you really look around at the learning part of it, I feel like it just, to me, it just sparks your creativity. And I've really enjoyed that. You can also get signed up for their emails for educators, and they have a lot of webinars and things that you can attend as well. But I was trying to see if I could, but you can see like this is all about here's some of them down here. So this is their education page. And it basically just like, you know, shows you how to do different things that educators use a lot. So I have found that that's really fun to look through, and like gives you good ideas for how to use Adobe Express. But there is pretty broad what they have available in here. So Michelle, I saw that you wrote about Photo Shelter. Could you talk a little bit about that?
I can. The University of Maine uses Photo Shelter as a digital asset management tool, which they have a stock of UMaine photos. And an extension, we're about to launch our own segment of that platform, but we are also going to start to build templates in InDesign, and there's a plugin that can be used, or an extension that can be used with Photo Shelter, so that our staff are able to create, as you mentioned, social media graphics, flyers, presentations, using the templates that have been built that will be branded and using our fonts. And so our staff won't necessarily need to know how to use InDesign. They'll just be able to pull these templates over, insert a photo from Photo Shelter, and do their graphics from there. So it's set up similarly to what this is. And I kind of wish I knew about this before we started on that process, but my coworker and I, Matt, we're a web team, but we also work with video, and we've been looking for a way to provide templates to staff for video, so that we get a more cohesive, consistent look throughout our thumbnails. And so this might be a useful tool, since we already have the Creative Cloud.
Yes.
So,
Well,
yeah.
you can set up a video library. So I tried to keep our brand really simple in there so that they could quickly get to like the main items that are involved with the brand. But you can set up individual libraries, and you could put small little MOVs in there that just have your, like maybe your logo moves at the beginning, or maybe your website shows up, or things like that. So you can put that in a video library. You can title it whatever you wanted. And share that with, you can choose exactly who you want to share it, who you want to have access to it. Sometimes I'm like, I can share this with you, but are you going to wreck it? You know, are you going to be able to really use it
And
properly?
this is the thing is,
Yeah. So, but yeah, the libraries, there's libraries and brands, and you can make a library be a brand or vice versa. It allows you to kind of change that pretty quickly. But I think that the libraries are good for specific groups of templates, specific groups of media that you want to add in there, things that you access frequently. So
Just to add to that real quick, the way we kind of did this in the past was to build templates and put them in a website central place, and it was kind of like nobody used them.
Mhm.
Nobody wanted to go looking for templates, and people wanted it easy. So one advantage to this, and Janet can certainly speak to it, is we can do things from a central level. Everything from accessibility statements to branding to new photographs, new templates. So hopefully these admin assistants and agents and partners that we work with we can always be feeding them these new things, these new looks, and we're starting to see the fruits of those labors, and that's a good thing. Nobody liked going to the website, even though we would tell them these are where the templates are. They just don't want to go there, or didn't go there. So this has been very helpful in that respect.
Well, and also Adobe Express keeps them from having to learn 5 different programs. If they want to do a video, they don't have to go learn, a video program. They don't have to, it's all in one place.
Mhm.
So you're only asking them to learn one web-based program, even though technically they're probably learning multiple different skills that they can use. So, but before it was like they would have to make a Word document, and then they'd have to go over here and make something else in some other place, and they have to, so the putting it all in one place to me is also a big deal.
Now, has this video segment kind of taken the place of Adobe Spark? I think that's where I first kind of got waded into working with.
Yes, and I think I had some people who had used Adobe Spark, and I want to say that your projects still show up in this. I want to say
Oh,
that they've
okay.
been migrated. I mean, double check me on that. I'd love to know that answer. But I feel like I asked someone who had worked previously in Adobe Spark. I was like, "Well, how do you get to your?" And they kind of indicated that they were in their projects
Okay.
connected.
Well, I'll
So
take a look.
I would love to know if that's the case. I didn't have any previous work to check that on.
Because when I did go back to Adobe Spark, I had trouble logging in and using it. So that might have been the case, that they might have just transitioned
Well, I
over.
would be interested to know if you log into Adobe Express, if your stuff is, if you see your stuff, you would have to log in with the same email account or whatever that you logged into the other with. But I think like Janet is also saying that it's the same program. So I have a feeling that they've migrated the projects that they can migrate that would work. Like even we started in the spring in an older version of Adobe Express, and now we're in the newer version of Adobe Express. And so a lot of things have changed even since I gave this presentation to our group. The look and feel and even how the brand is set up has changed. But some of my projects did not transfer over, but the ones that didn't have like paid content from the previous one did. So
Yep, I'm seeing some of the I think it's libraries, is it?
mhm.
Grants and libraries. I am seeing the ones I had set up previously in Spark. So interesting.
Okay. Janet, we need to wrap it up. So people can go eat lunch and deal with hurricanes and everything else out there.
Batten down the hatches.
So we'll linger on this Zoom for a few minutes. If anybody wants to ask any questions or just chat about anything else, publishing or graphic design wise, please get us your ideas for future webinars. If you have them, we welcome those. Be glad to hear from you. And just like to thank everybody for attending today. Thank you, Janet. And if you have any questions for her, please send them to me or to Michelle or to Janet, and we'll be glad to get those answers back to you as quick as we can. So thank you all very much.